dong. Shabalama doon dong. Alrighty. Hello and welcome to the Kino Corner, where we talk about the very best in movies, news, and trailers from a certain point of view. I am joined today by the Griffin.
Hello.
Yes, hello there, Griffin. Yes, and we'll be talking about A Night at the Museum, basically the Night at the Museum trilogy of movies. We won't be talking about the animated series, but no, I don't think we'll need to have enough thoughts on the trilogy here to warrant most of the time. And of course, since before we get into that, we have our normal preamble of movies, of movie news, movie trailers, and any new and recent films we want to discuss. I won't be covering every piece of movie news that came out in the past 2 weeks, as of recording this, of course. Excuse me, a little burp. But basically, CinemaCon just happened. A lot of the big news that I want to weigh in on, I will be discussing, but there is a lot that came on through from CinemaCon. And I encourage everybody to look into every piece of detail. Maybe something to you, a lot of things for Paramount, a lot of updates and things that people saw, some things that we may have potential updates about. Full disclosure, I won't be mentioning Avengers Doomsday because nothing was officially released. I don't care what any leaked teasers of anything has to say. I care about the official release.
Oh, I'm sure Feige snipers will care.
Yeah. But yeah, without further ado, I guess we'll start off with we're talking about a little bit of movie news. I think we have more news than trailers this time. For the first one, this is I wouldn't say this is a lesser story, but I don't know, it rubs me the wrong way that apparently the Simpsons, they're stopping the couch gags altogether. And the reasoning purportedly is like and they said this in an interview, we need the full 24 minutes 30 seconds to tell a story. And
No?
I say this growing up in the 90s, no you don't, you're bad.
I mean, I could maybe understand it if you were be like, we're just kind of burnt down on them. We have no more ideas. But the
Right, like
reason you gave,
yeah.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, no, yeah, if this was just burnout and they just the thing is, there were two reasons that would have been a good reason, and there was another reason that was given that turned out to just be kind of a placeholder before they just kind of broke down and said that look, this is the real reason. And that was basically in this era of streaming, most people skip the intro anyway, so they were just like, we want to put our creative energy towards the show. If that was the truth, I'd be frustrated, but I'd accept it. But no, they basically just came out and said, no, we just need the full time to tell the story. We want to focus on telling the story. Just like so you can think of more couch gags, you're just not. And I know this seems small, but like it it's like a staple of the show.
Right?
It it'd be like if there was a new Power Rangers reboot and they're just like, we're just not gonna have them say it's morphin time. They're just gonna press a button and change. It feels wrong.
You need the morphing call.
Yeah.
You need the X-Men to start off with the da-na-na-na-na-na.
Like even though it took a little bit of effort, and I recognize that, but this was a creative outlet that they just use, and if they just kind of blew their load on some really good ones for the past few years, sorry, that's on them. And this really does boil down to the excuse. Like I've theorized for a bit now that Simpsons was like gonna end soon, like officially end soon. And I do believe that like ending with the movie would be the best bet because like 40 years, three movies is like a
Absurd
great.
amount of seasons.
Yeah, it would be just a a perfectly just rounded way to end the series, and it would be seen as one of the greatest success stories of just of the just TV sitcoms. But I do think that that is going to happen in the future. But I don't know. Just this feels like they're just kind of. I don't want to say the beginning of the end for The Simpsons, but it's definitely the start of something different that's not typical. Like that, the heart is like starting to bleed out. I guess is the way to put it. And I know, like, if I look back on this specific take of myself, I know part of me would be like, guys, it's just a cartoon intro. It's not that deep. It kind of is. I know a lot of modern audiences like to skip the intros on Netflix and everything else.
And
Well,
they're mostly wrong.
they are mostly wrong. Because even in modern made shows, like I've been watching one recently called Dig Man, and I'll dig into more of that when we talk about the new and recent films. But yeah, but they have a brief intro. It's short, sweet, to the point, and there's nothing like unique like the couch gag, but just I don't know. It's just not having that little 20-second intro to showing the Digman and the other characters is just I don't know. It feels lifeless and typical. I just don't generally agree with the whole. I say this as someone who binges. I don't agree with the idea of just like, oh, let's just get to the show and get this over with, and then when it's done, not processing it and just straight up moving to the next one. You're no longer enjoying shows anymore at that point. You're just kind of going by the numbers.
And even then, if you want to linger on something, you know the pause button is a thing, right?
Exactly, but they don't. No one ever pauses. But this news makes me disheartened. I don't know what The Simpsons will be like for the next however long it lasts. And
Mm, I don't need. Maybe they will make some good stories with those extra minutes. I haven't been keeping up with The Simpsons.
maybe, but I I also sincerely hope that this wasn't just a dumb a dumb guy saying a dumb thing. I wish this I truly wish this was just a bad sequence of events that they can't crawl out of, and the actual truth is that just like well, Simpsons about to end. We can't think of any couch gags, so we're just gonna do what we can and do it when we can. I sincerely hope that's the actual truth because I'd be more open to that. But based on what they've said so far and all other evidence to the, it's not the case. But a sad start, but that's all right. But now if we go from sad to something that makes me mad. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh boy.
Okay, those that don't know the situation, there was an Avatar. Okay, I'm gonna start just preface this by saying I know what the team has been trying to do. They've been trying to make Avatar Studios. Avatar was the biggest, like undoubtedly the biggest hit on Nickelodeon, with like I think it and SpongeBob basically were the life support of Nickelodeon for however fucking long. But and but them doing like Avatar Studios do you I just making a network based off of a single show to me is just like doomed to fail because like congratulations you got one IP, you've now given yourself a ceiling from the start. I but
I can't think of many shows that would work with better.
yeah, and but even that being said, I still like Avatar. I think it is a wonderful story that people should watch. That all being said, there was news of Avatar: The Legend of Aang, the movie coming out via Paramount, was one of their first major projects before they released alongside the new season to kind of expand the story of Aang for and like little bits of information for new audiences, but like right around the time they started that new season of Avatar, basically as a way to just reignite the flame and get people in there. I think that's generally great. I think as far as marketing is concerned, that's just good timing. But movie studios be movie studios, and this started with Paramount just deciding we don't think it'll perform well, so we're gonna not put it in theaters.
So you don't think it'll perform well?
Yeah, no, and as we all know from some things like K-pop Demon Hunters, yeah, movie studios know exactly what movies people are gonna watch. Lately, movie studios have had a wonderful track record in that regard. Oh, but that's not the main story. Paramount is a villain in this, but there's multiple villains in this story. Because after the announcement it wasn't coming to streaming, there was a story that this hacker basically leaked the entire movie. If you go somewhere on the internet, the entire movie is there to see. And yes, people have been saying it's good. I'm saying, and I'm sorry, I don't try to pull rank. I don't try to just do this fucking just like I'm sorry, like this is the opinion of me and my guest. And like this is when I am firm on. I will not budge from this position. Do not watch the leaked movie. If you want to watch it, wait. There is no official release. The creators themselves have fully expressed that they did not want it to happen. The hacker tried to mention, oh, but some guy from Nickelodeon emailed me. That has been proven false. I don't care how much you want to see the movie. I don't give two fucks about how much you want to goon to Toph's tits, because that's a weird thing that's come up a lot. Respect the filmmakers, respect the animators, and watch it on streaming or buy a damn ticket. Because otherwise, they're not going to make any money off this, and we're never going to get it again, you selfish pricks. I'm sorry for getting mad about this, but holy fuck. Like that, yeah. The whole situation makes me mad. I said there's multiple villains. The next villain is the guy who leaked it and then tried to make an excuse like someone told me to do it. Fuck you. No one did it. And every other villain is everyone who has just flagrantly downloaded it, watched it in its entirety, and just like, oh, nothing happened, man. It's no big deal. Yes, it is. Any ad space or bullshit you're watching on the internet is not going to the creators. This is not a licensed way to watch it. The creators of this have not seen a dime. If you watch it for free, you're just adding to the reasons why this will never happen again. Period. I do not want to see this movie until it gets to official release. And if something wonderful happens and this actually comes to streaming, and like I could actually like watch it like with a streaming subscription, I do not want to hear the barrage of bullshit like, well, I've already saw it, but I don't guess I don't need to buy a streaming service to watch it again. Well, congratulations, fuckwit, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Sorry if I took the reins on there, but yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm not much of a Last Airbender fan, but yeah, this entire thing is just messed up. So you're gonna tell us not to support the creators of this thing you like, allegedly?
Yeah.
Some fan you are.
Right. Look, I say this as someone who I watched Super Sentai for a while, and the only way to watch Super Sentai for a long time was to use torrenting sites. That's just a fact. And I know to some people that's going to make me sound like a fucking hypocrite. But here's the thing. I put my money where my mouth is. Every chance I get, I buy the DVDs. I buy the Blu-rays. if there is a theatrical release or a way to release it, I'm looking over, I'm seeing like a Time Ranger thing right on my desk, and I like that, and I generally like that series. Oh look, there's my
You're welcome.
yeah, thank you. There's my Common Rider 01. Bought that shit. Wonderful. Yeah. Like, you like Avatar. That's great. You want to see the movie, please. But it's not. This is a generation that's losing patience, and it's not just. And I don't want to hear this. Oh, it's just Gen Z. No, it's everybody. I know people who are as old as me, some older, who are sharing the same level of impatience. Like, yeah, there's a lot of movies that I want to see, and I'll joke about. Yes, yes, Fernie. I would love to see this movie in its proper form. I I like Avatar. I would love to know what happens in this part of their lives when I can actually see it. Because like what are you giving yourself by watching it before everyone else? Not a damn thing. Because like look to the future here. You've watched it. You now know what's going to happen. Now, 3 months down the line, it's got an official release. It's come back. It's coming to theaters in freaking November or something. Like, oh, well, congratulations. Now we're going to go through 6 months of spoiler seasons. You can't get hyped for it because you've already seen it. And you're just going to get mad. You've lost the ability to enjoy the movie because you had to watch it on your terms and not actually support the creators. This is consistently true across the board with everything in every situation where people do this. You try to watch it early with anything. And if nothing else, we're now in an age of AI, so there's no telling how much of what people have seen is the actual fucking movie. There's now a storm of bullshit. And a whole bunch of Reddit douchebags just fanning the flame. Because they all felt entitled to see something they like and didn't want to wait. Because who wants to wait a few months to see a movie and just do something else with their time? It's not like there's hundreds and thousands of other movies and shows and just other just things to do with my life. Ugh. But it's pathetic. And I know people who have seen it, and they may just like, they're like, dude, I've seen this video to this. I don't care if you've seen it. I don't care. I don't want to be spoiled on it. I don't. I'll watch it when it comes out. Period. But yeah, anything to say before I move on to the next topic?
Only what has been parroted many times from watching Team 4-Star. Please support the official release.
Yeah. Screw Paramount for thinking this won't do well. It will. You clearly don't pay attention to the fans. Screw the hacker for trying to bullshit their way. I hope you stub your toe, and every time it starts to heal, you stub it again for the rest of your life. And for everyone who wants to watch the movie early, and then just try to spoil it for everybody, and then just try to white knight it, like, oh, come on, guys, it's okay to watch early. Just fuck you. That's it. But that's it. I'm gonna move on to better news that makes me happy. I wanted to get the negative stuff out of the way because I had thoughts.
Okay. Maybe take a drink.
Yes.
And breathe.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I had to get that out of the way, but all right. There's be a splash of negative here. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about the doomsday stuff here, but that is very much spoiler alert. That's very much the reason I'm not looking at the Doomsday spoilers. I don't care. They're like I wouldn't be surprised if the leakers are the reason we haven't gotten the Doomsday trailer officially yet, and I would not be surprised if there was a plan to get the Doomsday trailer like on Saturday or some shit. And now we're probably not going to get it till like a week or so, if we get it. But
Thanks, assholes.
yeah, but now there has been some official stuff. Like we got some release dates and images from Beyond the Spider Verse, supposedly for now out of development hell. It's being animated, it's being voiced, it's being actively worked on. Great news. There has been still images that don't seem to connect immediately, but there is seem to be present themes. Like we get to learn, like we see, like there's one of Miles reuniting with his dad. We know there's gonna be a scene there. There's a Spider Punk. They're gonna save your dad, so obviously, like they're gonna be on Miles' side, whether he trusts them or not.
Love to see Hobie return.
Yep. Yep. And we get to see the one that interests me the most is the dad and the uncle and their younger state. There's going to be a backstory there. As someone who's played through the Miles Morales game, who's watched the first Spider-Verse movies, is just starting to get a little more invested in Miles' story. I like that this is a thing. That there's at least going to be something of a background on these two characters. Just to see how I've always been fascinated how both similar and different Miles is to Peter Parker. Oh yeah. But and like I know in the last movie, mild spoiler warning, but it's been so long. I feel and it's done so popular. I feel most people have seen it, but mild spoiler warning. At the end of Across the Spider Verse, uh, Miles ends up in not his his dimension, but one where he never got powers and took up the mantle of Prowler after his father had died. Because there is no Spider Man. And it keeps us this theme that, like, you have the dad who's, in a weird way, like, I always believe there's some truth to, like, the D&D alignment charts. I think it's a little more of a, less of just a flat you're this and this, and more of just like imagine the entire 3x3 alignment chart as like a grid, like a big old spectrum, and just like where you are somewhere on the dartboard, like, oh, you're definitely like lawful good, but you're leaning a little bit towards more like the neutral good territory. Like you have a little more flexible, like it, like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the brothers are, they're both very clearly, I would say, I think they're both good. I say this with one of them is a villain, but one of them is chaotic good because he is so selfish he doesn't see a problem with doing evil things for evil people for his own sake. He's just really fucking selfish, but he is chaotic good, and consistently he does right by his family. That seems to be consistent, not just in the Spider-Verse movies, but in every piece of fiction I've seen. He'll go, like, he is good to a point. But and then his dad is just straight up lawful good. Like I think they're, and both of them have this care for each other, care for the family, care for Miles. It's just which one ends up being the father figure drastically changes Miles in such a profound way. So having a little bit where like you see their similarities, how they grew up, and what pushed them that far apart along basically the law is going to be fascinating. Oh, I'm glad that we're sitting on an official release date. It's at the it's June 18th is the confirmed date for now. It's, as always, these are subject to change. Usually, when a release date is dropped at CinemaCon, that's like the final. But that doesn't. But there has been changes in the past. Like we've talked about Dune before, how it's now locked in that it's gonna basically be locked in same release weekend as Avengers Doomsday, and yeah, that's gonna be fun. But I'll I'll briefly talk about that in a bit. But basically, this we'll know by I would say January if this release if this release date doesn't change by January, then it's locked in. Like period.
Getting some major Godzilla versus Kong flashbacks here.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, like between now and then, it's pretty like subject to change. I would not be surprised if like maybe sometime around like the Game Awards or something, or maybe somewhere like around July, around June, July, when we get to like a okay, Comic Con, they do some more analysis, and they're just like, oh, instead of June 18th, we're pushing it back a weekend to June 25th. If there's like something coming out they didn't foresee or something, I don't know the full schedule. That's still possible. I don't think it's going to be something as drastic as we're postponing it till freaking December. And the only reason I don't think they'll do that is because Spider Verse specifically has already been postponed, like so much. If they postpone it again, they're gonna kill any hype for this movie, and I think they know that. I think posting these images and showing how many people have come out saying, "Yeah, we're filming. Look at all this teaser stuff. Look at how much stuff we're filming. Look at all these actors recording their lines." I am they, no, good or bad, they're locked in now. That it's going to come out next year, and if there's any change, it's just going to be a little bit. At least it's
Look,
not like JoJo's first. God, don't get me started on that, dude.
look at us working on Spider-Man projects that are actually worth a damn.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see when it comes out, and as things change or we get a trailer, of course, we'll keep our eyes on it. But yeah, I said I did all the bad stuff first. There is one thing. I guess it's bad news. It doesn't make me as mad as the Avatar thing. It just makes I'm just kind of sitting here eating popcorn, watching the House of Mouse burn down. Because Disney laid off a lot of employees, like a lot of them,
At the worst possible time.
at the worst possible time. In the midst of all these lawsuits, in the midst of all the allegations, right before release of some during production of key Marvel movies, I'll add, they laid off two whole departments and a whole bunch of other employees across several others. The two main departments they laid off, one is the home video department for Disney, so DVDs. So yeah, if you want to see a Disney movie just out on the shelves, well, it sucks. Those are now gonna be more sparse than ever. So expect the prices for anything Disney to go up at your local movie trading company. And the other one that they laid off their entire visual effects department at Marvel, except for a skeleton crew, and have since confirmed they will be hiring effects teams on a per project basis. That tells me that there's going to be some AI here and there. But the other side of it could be, and I've said this before, I think that Marvel movies should have ended with Endgame, need to end at Secret War. And I don't mean that just, oh, all Marvel things stop at that. No. I mean that this consistent story they have with this in this universe needs to stop. So after it, they could just slow down. Like, all right, this year we want to do this project about an obscure Marvel character, Wonder Man. Neat. Next year, I want to do another season of X Men '97. Hey, fucking A. Like I'd be more open to that than just what they've been doing. Oh, I know. Money. Well, you funny you should say that. Even though I'm going to go see a lot of these Marvel movies, they're just not performing as well. They're not. Like they're getting critically canned like by a wide margin. Brave New World, which is weird because honestly, Brave New World to me wasn't that bad. Did not get the numbers it should have. But after this though, they're throwing money and going do so. That's exactly what's happening. They're throwing money at the problem, saying good. So like I foresee a future where we already had test screenings for Doomsday. All I know about the test screenings is that people are comparing its quality to Infinity War. That could be just meaningless hype, but what I think is going to happen, and I think it's very possible, almost likely, unless something changes, that Avengers Doomsday could be very good, very hype as fuck. One of the better Marvel movies in a while. I could see that legitimately happening, but then Secret War is absolute dog shit because they use AI and just skeleton crews and all this other stuff for effects, even though it's supposed to be a massive movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be the cynical guy in this, but after this news, that really feels possible, and heck, it feels probable to me. I want these Marvel movies to end, but I also want them to end strong. I want Brand New Day to be great. I want Doomsday to be great. I want Secret War to be great. But to specifically lay off the team at Marvel when you have so many projects coming out, that tells me either they don't have faith in these projects, or they are just also trying to self sabotage and just end that shit so they can just try other things and focus on like streaming. And like they might be trying to pivot to like a Star Wars theme or something. I don't know. I I don't know what's going through Disney's mind, but it's also why I describe it as there be cracks forming in the House of Mouse. What are your thoughts, Griffin?
I I don't have any thoughts. I'd rather just stand by and wait till I know for sure what the final plan is.
Yeah, it's it's a lot. I guess
Because I I love the MCU. I don't want to see it crash and burn.
I agree. I I'm critical of it, and I have my opinion. I don't know if that I'm pretty sure I don't know if you agree on, but I want these movies to be good. I did enjoy some of the more recent Marvel films more than some people did. I really did like Brave New World, and I know a lot of people didn't.
No,
Great.
no, same. I do too. I mean, it wasn't as great as the others, but it still had something.
Oh yeah. Also, hot take: not as good as Winter Soldier is such an impossible fucking bar for some of these Marvel movies. Holy fuck!
Uh, yeah,
If I rate a Marvel movie super low, I do think my least favorite Marvel movie is still Thor: The Dark World because it's the worst thing a movie can be, and that's boring. Like to some degree, like I like Thor: Love and Thunder to a degree because at least it's an enjoyable amount of stupid. It's tonal whiplash like you wouldn't fucking believe, and it's worthy of some of its negative scores. But at least I had fun.
I mean, even I can see the gleams of a great movie in Dark World. It's just there were certain things about it that cast a few shadows over that gleam.
Yeah.
But I'm still in the camp of I have never hated any of these movies.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, there's not a Marvel movie I hate. Like I could rank them low, but there's not one I
In the
absolutely hate
MCU, at
in
least.
the MCU. Yeah.
Because there are some movies out there I could get on a soapbox about, but we're not here for that.
We're not here for fan fanforstic, but
Why did you say that name?
but I I sincerely hope, like, if I were to remain cynical, what I think may have happened if is they've got so much attempting to be done for Avengers Doomsday, and they threw so much money at it. They're just trying to cut corners and save money so they can just do that and more again. Because I think they're also preemptively planning to not win the box office weekend by as much. Because let me be clear, it is competing with Dune 3 on launch weekend. I am still confident more people are going to want to see Avengers Doomsday than Dune 3. Even with a Dune 3 already locking in IMAX. And I know that's putting out a lot of stuff in the world about just like, oh, Dune 3 has IMAX, it's gonna win the theaters. Big asterisk on that. I think they were able to secure like 20 IMAX screens nationwide and only at specific times for the weekend. All of the rest turned them down, and I am positive it's because they're like, I'm pretty sure people are gonna want to rather see Doctor Doom in IMAX than Big Sandworm. I am pretty damn sure of that.
I mean, out of line, but right.
Yeah, and and look, facts are facts. There, it is very possible Dune 3 could, by every metric, be a better movie than Doomsday. That's also very possible. That doesn't change and I want to see both, but it doesn't change the fact more people are going to go see Doomsday. But the other part of that is they are dropping an absurd amount of money into this movie. Like it's the amount of money they put in there started out getting like, oh wow, that is like comically absurd. It's gone past comically absurd, and now it's just it's almost upsetting, and you're just like, dude, this is part one of the finale. Are you okay? Because no matter what, they're gonna have to put more money in on Secret War if they're gonna try to include. Because there's main Avengers not in this fucking movie, at least not that have been revealed. And if they're in it too, fuck. Took a bite out of ramen, trying to regulate myself.
Like a nerd.
Yes. I think they just put so much money into this. They're trying to cut corners and say things because I think they're going to win box office weekend, but it's not going to be enough of a profit margin to make up for how much money they put in. Is what my ultimate theory is, and I think they're just preemptively planning for a loss, and they're kind of cutting off a limb basically. Like a lot of these main streaming companies are making objectively stupid decisions that are gonna the AI bubble is starting to burst. And I'm not gonna go full political or full just tech broy about any political factor any situation has or what's going on with the AI stuff. I won't go into full detail about that. That's a more nuanced conversation. This is the Funny Movie Podcast. All I will say on that is when the AI bubble does burst, any and every major film studio and film that has invested money into that is they're gonna be hurting for money. They're gonna face those consequences, and I don't think they're foreseen. I and I think that's why indie movies are just starting to shine. Like we're really getting into like an independent filmmaking age, which brings me to me that's a best transition I can think of to the next piece of news. That Jacksepticeye is making a Bloodborne movie.
Okay.
That's more or less my reaction to it. But okay, I've never played Bloodborne. I am led to understand a lot of people like Bloodborne, and they would prefer a continuation of the Bloodborne series than the other Elden Ring stuff. I
You know
don't
what? Good
know.
for y'all.
Yes, I should. Like if it honestly of those Souls-like games, the only two that I'm just like maybe vaguely interest me are this one and Sekiro. Sekiro for its mythology, and this one for its. Uh, I guess the acting, because I watched my brother play bits of this, and some of the line delivery by some of these characters is just hauntingly like, oh man. I've heard Sekiro is stupid hard, and I would be a fucking casual and play it on easy. But 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 no, like, as always, I want this to be good. I hope it's good. Good on Jacksepticeye for basically putting his money together and doing this Bloodborne movie and just making it his way. I think he is gonna be true to what this game is like. I should have been playing through it again like last week, but oh yes.
Oh,
I will add the I'll try to add this game to my playlist for sure. Yes. Uh, the one downside to this, and I don't think it's a downside to the movie itself. Again, I think this is going to be a good movie. I trust Jacksepticeye. He's a I think he has enough creative. The, okay, before I get into this, YouTubers to me are stupid fucking creative. At least a lot of them are. There's things on YouTube that to me are more interesting and engaging than anything Hollywood can produce. At least right now. In like but take Iron Lung for instance. Iron Lung is a mixed movie. I still hold that it's about a 7 out of 10. Great first movie for Markiplier. Because of how close Jack is to Markiplier, even though these are likely going to be such different movies, what I'm worried for is because of the timing and who he is, there's going to be this comparison between him and Markiplier. And look, I don't want it to be the case. I think doing so is freaking stupid. This should Jacksepticeye's Bloodborne movie should absolutely stand on its own 2 feet. I hope it does well. From what I'm gathered about the guy and how much he likes these games, I think it's going to be at least very true to the source material. Like if I could play the game beforehand and get a little more hype for it, understand what I'm getting into, I might buy a ticket. Like we'll go watch this. Like my exposure to Bloodborne is this funny freaking Pokemon short that it keeps getting added and removed from YouTube. What's that smell? It's blood. Freaking love that thing. But also I just can't help but love the picture I found of Jacksepticeye with the Bloodborne hat. I want him to wear that in every convention. I don't know. No, I'm generally excited for this. I hope it does well. And I wanted to include this for this. I don't connect this to anything any other YouTuber has done. Jacksepticeye is his own creator. He's going to do great on this. But it's the larger point that on YouTube there are creators who can make these wonderful things. I didn't make a slide for it, but I'll briefly mention the Amazing Digital Circus. They're getting their theatrical release. It's already sold out from what I can gather. They're
damn.
Oh yeah, like I made the conscious decision not to see it in theaters, and it's entirely because there's so many other things that are going to be in theaters that I want to see, and this will be released in a format I will be able to pay for, at least because I'm subscribed to Gooseworks on YouTube. I don't have premium, so I'll be watching it with ads, and I can at least watch it when the AdSense is going to them. Like they're going to get something from that viewership. I'm glad it's sold out in theaters though, because everything. I think Glitch is going to be like a powerhouse of indie animation for a while. Even though the animation's not for everybody, they are doing fantastic work with some of their shows, like Murder Drones, Amazing Digital Circus. I am so excited to watch more of Knights of Guinevere. That one fascinates me so much. but I want to see more stories like this. All these YouTube creators doing like, this is what we do with our time, with our money, what the fans can give us, and make these fantastic projects because they have the passion that's just not there in Upper Hollywood. And then take that passion when they're like, hey, we got a deal. They gave us some money and resources. We're going to take that passion and use big fucking film strips. Like, I want to see more of this. You need to check out Digital Circus. You should, Fernie. If you wanted to wait till like a month for now to watch it, uh, basically you could binge the entire thing in the finale. Worth it. I can see if I could send you a playlist of the first 8 episodes. It is, but yeah, I would love to see more of that. Like more of just these YouTube creators taking what the fashion and making movies that they connect to, that they want to make. Don't worry, Fernie. I won't beg you to see it. If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. Just I recommend it. It's a good show. I it's a show that makes me happy and makes me feel things. But yeah. What do you think about this Jacksepticeye Bloodborne movie, huh?
I I hope it's something the Bloodborne fans can enjoy. I have no thoughts on it.
No thoughts. Head empty.
Top of the morning to you, laddies.
But yeah, Bloodborne seems cool. Died a lot in it. Yeah, I'd probably die. I think the closest Soulsborne I've played is the God of War games. But and I don't want to derail to talk about the video games. This is
Mine would be the Star Wars Jedi games.
yeah. This is the Funny Movie Podcast, and I think now okay. Last piece of news. Most of the news actually to some degree has me heated. We got the news that Spaceballs is its sequel. It's got a name drop. It's got a full title drop. Like it's happening. The cast is happening, and it will not be called The Search for More Money,
Or Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2, as Rick Moranis suggested.
which would have been a glorious title.
But there is a reason for that.
Yes, the reason is simple. They found the money. It was in his basement.
Of course.
I'm sorry. Like, I grew up with Mel Brooks movies. That is the most Mel Brooks troll joke he ever could have fucking done. I have no problem with this not being called Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. It's Spaceballs, the new one. It's like the old one, but new. If y'all don't think it's funny, y'all didn't watch Mel Brooks movies enough.
Yeah, did you see the picture of that Polygon article?
Yeah.
I'll take writers with sticks up their ass for 200, Alex.
Yeah. Things are allowed to be funny and nonsensical for the sake of being funny and nonsensical. That's kind of what Mel Brooks does. But then again, Mel Brooks basically trolled everybody by remaking Blazing Saddles and no one noticed.
This man is almost 100 years old and he still has the sauce.
Yeah. Oh, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, like he said in an interview in the '90s that he wanted to remake Blazing Saddles. Like he might think about it, but this time do it like something like a samurai motif instead of thing. Just as a joking matter. About 20, 30 years later, he made Paws of Fury, which I'm sorry, I don't know if you've seen that movie. It is bar for bar just Blazing Saddles as a kids movie and samurai. Also with less N words, but that. Yeah, but that's what it is, though. Like, I don't think it's a great animated comedy, but the fact that he basically just committed to a bit decades after after an interview joke to me is just this fucking man. He cares more about the movies he wants to make and the jokes he wants to tell than anything the fans or anyone else wants to tell him. And I respect the hell out of Mel Brooks for that. I don't always find his jokes funny. Most of the time I do though. And And if this guy has a joke in mind for why he doesn't want to name it Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, then cool. Because it's Spaceballs, the new one. It's like the old one, but new. To me, that's just as funny. Just because they prefaced it with the bag of money. It's like, we found the money. Oh my gosh. Like,
Also, the bag was labeled Spaceballs, the money.
it was. Oh, and Spaceballs the bag, holding Spaceballs the money. Get it right.
You think the dollar bills have Dark Helmet's face on them?
They do. Zoom in. I'm dead fucking serious. Zoom in. It's fake money.
Oh my goodness.
But that's what I'm saying. He commits to this bit. It, like, I like. So I guess again, this goes to this weird entitlement that like we've been developed over the years. It's like he made a joke in the freaking 80s about like, oh, it's gonna be Spaceballs, the search for more money, and now he wants to do a seagull. Like it said, so it was like, it has to be this. If it's not this, we're gonna riot. It's Spaceballs, the new one. Redditors unite! It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's like you wanna see Spaceballs 2, the search for more money? Fucking make Spaceballs 2, the search for more money. Because this series is Mel Brooks's baby, and he thought it funnier if he did it this way, and it was funny to me. And I see, and it's funny, and more importantly, it's funny to him. This is a man who's almost 100 years old, and when any image I see of just behind the scenes or him working on this man is just either dead focused or having a freaking blast.
Hell, look at the picture you're using for him.
That's just a screenshot from the video. The man was just having a ball telling people it's Spaceballs the new one. This man is having the time of his life making a movie he's passionate about, and y'all are just bitching and moaning because it's not the title you want it to be. What the fuck?
Shame, 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 shame.
Look, if the original crew's in there and the same passion that Mel Brooks gave us with all the recent stuff he did, then it's go. I don't know if it's gonna be as funny as Spaceballs, but at least if it's close, I'm happy.
Hmm.
Like plus it brought Rick Moranis back to film. Come on.
Come on.
Choose a different hill to die on, people. Ugh. So
Except for mine. This one's mine. You can't come.
So yeah, I know I'm getting a little heated about the news this time, but just generally speaking, outside of just like I hope Jacksepticeye's movie does well. A lot of the news has some connotation of just I'm just tired of people. I'm tired of corporations making wrong decisions. I'm tired of people and fans being as entitled as they are. I'm just tired of it. I don't normally get as heated as I do. I try not to be. I'm 99% of the time as cool as a fucking cucumber, and I just don't care. I try not to, but I guess it's worn on me a bit, and I just at least this week I've just wanted to let it out. Just fuck people, dude. I'm glad I preemptively marked this channel as not for kids because I will be dropping a few f bombs now and then. But yeah, I don't know. But shift gears a little bit. We'll talk about some trailers. Yay! There's less trailers to talk about. Generally, these make me happy. The first one is I didn't know about this until like Friday, but apparently they're remake reimagining
New
the
version of Zorro?
yeah.
What?
It's like a French American co-production action comedy.
Of a Spanish character.
Yeah, like everything is weird about this. But what's even weirder, please tell me you watched the clip.
apparently there's two clips, and I watched the first clip where these guys are in the Zorro cave and they find the outfit.
Zorro. Did you watch the dubbed one?
There's a dubbed one.
Oh my god, the dubbing is awful.
I knew there was something off about these trailers.
The dubbing doesn't there's subtitles and the dubbing doesn't match the subtitles.
Uh, so it wasn't just a me thing.
No. And I thought it was an AI thing and I needed a no. They're all like it. It's the same audio all throughout. Like, oh no. This is just
Well, I mean, I did see the other trailer where these guards going through the cells and Zorro's in one of them, and there were no subtitles. But that trailer's just like, okay, yes, this is better. This is what I think of when Zorro comes to mind.
no, the second one is good, but the Zorro cave that I'm gonna call it from now on. That's the whole just this is such bad dubbing. I hope this is just a shitty dub of this scene. But oh man, evidence is starting to point to not and but
If nothing else, it will probably be entertaining in some way.
it's gonna be entertaining in some way. And it's just gonna be just a light comedy with a few giggles, like the scene where he tries to draw the Z with the sword and just kind of horrible, and the guy's like, "Oh, we'll
Needs
work on
work.
it." I gotta check on that, but
Yeah.
just I part of
No,
me doesn't, but a small part of me kind of wants this to be is like the the same kind of funny as the Texarkana dub of Gamera.
holy crap!
Yeah,
If you know, you know.
I want it to almost be that level of bad dubbing,
Banjos and all.
banjos and all. I want it to be so bad. I want Zoro to just jump off of a building and go El Kabong just to throw everybody off.
I, I, I just want a good Zorro movie.
I
Something we
know.
haven't gotten since Antonio Banderas.
I I think the internet's in denial this is happening. So when I try to look up Zoro 2026, all I see is just links to just the IMDb page and just other fan discussions about the Antonio Banderas movie.
I mean, can you blame him? That
No,
first movie was peak.
I can't blame him. But no, this a good Zorro in recent years is the One Piece. Hey,
Oh,
that's right,
ha
Fernie.
ha ha.
I got you, Fernie. I got you. All right, wait. No. The clip does okay. Bad dubbing aside, it looks fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it, I don't know what else to really think about this, but the dubbing was so distracting and caught me so off guard. I now have just weird expectation for this. But
Yeah.
we'll see when we learn more about it because it's coming out soon, isn't it? Like June or something.
I think
Yeah, it's a movie. Like we just found
a
out about it. It's coming
French
out
TV
very.
series.
It's a
It's,
series.
it's on Paramount Plus.
Ooh, there's a dark shadow looming overhead. Anyway, let's move on to
But
something a
anyway,
little happier. Uh, mm, happier in some respect. White Dragon. Okay, this is going to be a first. This might be the only time I do this, just because it's such a unique situation. This trailer did air a while ago, a few years ago, in fact. However, I want to talk about the trailer and my thoughts on White Dragon now because at CinemaCon we did get official confirmation that it is coming to theaters. It has an official theatrical release date. Like Bat in the Sun and all the showrunners and everyone in the Frank household they kind of worked together on this. There is an actual theatrical release after years of it being in production hell and just questions of if it would come out due to the passing of Jason David. So I guess my general thoughts. It's no secret. I grew up with Power Rangers. I generally like the aesthetic. I think it's just fun to watch. This is a movie that they went out to make. They do have some actors from Power Rangers series. I don't know if you noticed certain Time
Uh,
Force actors in there, but
oh no, I saw Jason Font
hey,
and
yeah,
Serena Vincent,
yeah, all right.
and maybe there are a few others. I don't know.
But they wanted to make, I guess, more gritty Power Rangers. It's still like this is the people that did worked on this is a group called Bat in the Sun. I would call them like live action Death Battle is a way to say it that doesn't feel 100% what they are, because they do a little bit more than that, but they do exclusively live action stuff. So, but I think they were a great group of people to do like the stunt work, choreography, and some of the effects on this. And the story isn't groundbreaking, but it is a unique one. It really just seemed to be a straightforward good dragon versus evil dragon story.
Mhm.
But it's the human side, and apparently there's a lot of military stuff going on. There's a lot of just this guy was apparently blamed for like a murder. I don't know. This does seem, it feels like a M-rated Power Rangers, like a proper M-rated Toku series. I don't know what to expect in terms of quality, because and I want people who know about this to know that this was filmed, edited, produced, and all that stuff when Jason David Frank was alive several years ago. So this is going to look dated when it comes to theaters. That is going to be an inescapable fact. And I want to spread that now so people don't get the wrong idea should they want to go see it. Like, I want to go see this. I want to support the people who took the time and effort. I want to support Jason David Frank's last movie. I'm going to go see this in theater. Like it,
Same.
yeah. Like whether it's good or bad, I think that has money put in a good spot. Like,
I mean, it can't be any worse than that other R-rated Power Rangers thing that we don't talk about.
it was almost one scene of it was almost good, but but I don't know it. But yeah, I'm excited for this. It really of course it looks just like Power Rangers. What do you expect? Like, Jason David Frank was a better actor than people give him credit for, especially with his facial expression. Holy fuck! But like,
And we and
dude,
we've actually met the guy a handful of times.
cool dude, cool dude.
Absolutely.
Uh, like this might be a thing where I talk about this more in detail later, but maybe after I might do. You know, sometimes we don't do the wheel. I just dedicate an episode to some other topic. This might be a time for that. I do have a plan for one of those, just a flat topic later in June, which we'll get to. But
Ooh.
I'll talk about that when it gets closer to it. But no, like oh, I am excited for this. What say you, Griffin?
Go go White Dragon.
Hell yeah! Now, the next trailer, this one is a trailer that both premiered at CinemaCon, and then we got it. It's for the Street Fighter movie, an actual full-blooded trailer. We actually got good looks at most of the characters, like Ken and E Honda and Zangief and Blanca. It's getting a lot of mixed reception. To a point, I understand why. To a point. And I think people were expecting something like the Mortal Kombat trailer, because remember that we did get the trailer for Mortal Kombat 2 a few weeks before this, and no matter how I feel about the first Mortal Kombat movie, Mortal Kombat 2 does look good. All of the characters look like who they're supposed to look like. All the music is about the same, and well, it's just combat. The movie is just combat. It has a more serious tone while maintaining the flair of the games. What I think people were expecting that what people aren't remembering is Street Fighter is a goofy as hell game.
Right?
For God's sakes, you beat up a car.
This this trailer is unhinged and over the top, but like, have you seen Street Fighter? It does so in the best possible way.
Yeah. It is not a movie that revels in the violence of beating up your opponent. It's just a martial arts street fight with goofy characters. For God's sake, one of the characters that I think it was only in like one or two games is just a British boxer that sips tea and doesn't really isn't really aggressive because he's polite.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of the world we're in. Like things are weird for the sake of being weird, and I know just on tone. The other thing that might be drawing people away is, as far as tone is concerned, I think this is probably going to be closer to that '90s Street Fighter movie, for better or for worse. But and I think that impression's coming more from, and this is the one thing that I'm on the fence about. I still want to see it in action, and that's David Dastmalchian as M. Bison.
I mean, he looks fantastic. Just the costumes in this trailer in general.
The
Mwah,
the costumes,
amazing.
yeah, the costumes look great. I like it. There's clearly a cartoonish, silly vibe, but then this is like the one aspect I will agree with people on. Like, even though the costumes look great for a lot of these characters, they at least have a decent enough build to pass as who they are playing. Like the guy playing Zangief is a Russian strongman who basically towers over everyone else by at least a foot. Like it, like that is, you look at that guy, go, oh yeah, that is a accurate Zangief build and all. Blanca is played by freaking the Lobo
Jason
Aquaman
Momoa.
himself, Jason Momoa, and basically just this long-haired, hunched-over wild man who's deceptively buff. Oh look, Jason Momoa, like he looks like Blanca. Even Ken and Ryu, yeah, like they're fit, slim, built, more like martial artists because they're martial artists. Like it, everyone's fit. But M. Bison is supposed to be this imposing force of both physical and mental energy. I can see the mental side of it with David Dastmalchian. It's the physical, and that's why I'm kind of like, I get where they're coming from to a point, but
but I gotta see it.
Exactly. Like I'm willing to say it's a bad representation of M. Bison. I'm not gonna say it's good or bad in either direction. I do want to see it because, that aside, everything else to me looks fine. It looks like Street Fighter. I had a coworker who just like, God, 50 Cent as Balrog is so stupid. It's like, I'm sorry. If you saw 50 Cent with painted on hairlines and didn't think and thought for a second you're supposed to take this movie seriously, you're doing it wrong.
This man did not get shot 9 times for that disrespect.
Yeah.
At least I think it was 9 times.
Everything in this trailer points to, don't take this movie seriously. We're here for a street fight and some stupid jokes. Come on. Like, that's the vibe I'm expecting. I mean, again, every character looks like their character. It's like, who's that obnoxious dude wearing all pink? I wonder if that's Dan Hibiki. It's like everyone, even if they're not like wearing like accurate costumes, they look like who they're supposed to represent. A sumo wrestler in Japan flying through the air. I wonder if it's E Honda.
Like, I'm not even a Street Fighter player, and I want to see this.
Yeah, this looks fun. It's like, I think we need to realize that not every movie needs to be this deep freaking character analysis that's true to every aspect of everything it's trying to emulate or represent. This
Learn
this
to enjoy yourselves.
yeah. Like, look, I know I got heated earlier, but my general rule of thumb when I watch movies is I like to like things. I want to like this movie because the trailer looks fun and silly and full of just some glorious action. So I want to see this movie. I want to like it. That's why I liked the Mario movie more than a lot of people. That's why I'm mad that like people are not giving these creations enough time to like release and support their creators. I want these passionate people to like eh. I won't make myself more mad again, but I like this looks fun. I get some of the criticism. I do. I think some of it is valid and it's a and if you're wary about this, I think that's warranted completely. But in the most general sense, I I don't think from this trailer this movie is trying to be taken seriously as this perfect adaptation. Every joke, every shot in this movie tells me like don't take this seriously. It's Street Fighter. Like that's what this screams to me. And that's what I'm going to go in thinking. And I'm probably going to enjoy the hell out of myself. I mean
Also,
for God's sakes, like who they have as the announcer? Freaking
uh,
what's his
shoot, I
name?
had his name. It, God, why am I blanking on this? I just had it.
I can't think of this actor's name. I'll remember it later. No, it's
Looking it up.
yeah.
Oh, Eric Andre.
Eric Andre. That's it. They have Eric Andre, a guy who's known on like Adult Swim and whatnot for just being this random, absurd, over the top comedian type as Zangief's hype man. Bruh.
What? Also, they stole He-Man's song.
Yes, okay. That is one thing I am kind of like, oh, what the fuck? They stole He-Man's thunder. that that
I mean,
actually
it's this isn't a mark against the movie. It's just like a come on kind of thing.
I don't know whether to be mad at the marketing team for Street Fighter of doing it first or mad at the He-Man marketing team for not doing it.
Things that make you go, bruh.
Things that make me go, damn it. But, you know, if I had to end on one trailer to talk about, it's one that's going to ultimately make me happy. That image. I feel myself
Oh, he Angie.
I feel myself stabilizing. I'm taking another sip.
I'll take another sip too. Get some sip.
We are back in a happy place. We are in such a happy place right now. Oh, there's so much to talk about with this trailer.
I want to get one thought about this trailer out of the way first.
Mm-hmm.
America, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to stop right now.
I don't know if you were in the you weren't in the chat, but I showed this to a few people like Lex and Mike and them, and it got to the end of the teaser right before that scene. And it was like, oh, that looks interesting. I'm like, no, hold on, there's still more. And like, what? It got to the Statue of Liberty. They all was like, wait, what? And I was like, y'all thought you was safe? Y'all thought he's stuck in Japan? No. And they're like, well, how did he get there? He swam.
Swam.
Why is this a question?
How do you think he gets around?
Like the fact that they're seriously, it's not that the level of suspension of disbelief in a movie with a giant radioactive lizard is so it's like what's the freaking term I'm looking for? Double standard. It's such a double standard. It's like, oh yeah, I'll believe it and let it be realistic if he's attacking Japan, but I'm not going to believe for a second that this 60-foot dinosaur can swim in the ocean for a few years and arrive in America. The fuck?
We already have that. It's called the MonsterVerse.
Yeah, right. That's right. But Also, I have a theory. Like I know there's a lot of theories going on about this trailer that there's two Godzillas. Well, maybe, but I wonder if, in all actuality, because I do agree with one assessment that one of the early shots is very clearly of the final battle in -1, and America was watching it go down without Japan knowing, and that's when the whole talk about we don't need to drop the third one. I think that was meant to be they were ready to use a third bomb if necessary on Godzilla. I I 100% agree with that assessment. So, but what I think happened isn't that there's two Godzillas. I do think there's another monster, maybe. But I think what more likely happened is that after the events of the first one, Godzilla was just like, fine, if you don't want my territory, I'll get a new one. And then when he fully reformed, he just kind of wandered the ocean, ended up crossing the Panama Canal, and ended up in New York. Or hell, just kind of walk through the Arctic. Something. There's a million ways to do it. But but so like people have noticed that this Godzilla we see has like the shoulder spikes and it's so much bigger, whereas the one in New York is big, but it looks more like the one from -1. And some have suspected they just took a shot from -1 and superimposed a Statue of Liberty on there, which is
I don't know about
I
that.
don't know. I, I think America is getting involved because Godzilla's in their territory, and I'm wondering if they kind of lured him back to Japan and ended up. My theory is just Godzilla pissed off to another country, and America's just like, no, you deal with it as a further just like, screw you, Japan. You started this mess, you finish it, and they're just like, we didn't start shit. The fuck. So I the whole thing is look, -1 was an allegory for war. It was for specifically a suicide bombers. And one thing that's I think is going to be the case again, and I think that I hope I'm right on this because we got to see Yamazaki. Yeah, I can't think of their actors, the character names right now.
uh, the Chikishima.
Shikishima. Yeah. We saw Shikishima in the plane again. But I'm wondering is if he took a job off the boat and because he felt more comfortable flying and he just kind of like owned it and just became a relief pilot, which would be a fun little homage to Godzilla Raids Again.
I was about to say that exactly.
And I do see some people have this take about just like, oh, if it's Ghidorah again, I'm just not going to see this movie. I'm tired of Ghidorah. It's like, yes, you are. Look,
Let's be real here.
look, I think there's a good chance it's Ghidorah. I don't think it's likely, but we do know that they recycled the design for -1. Well, not fully recycled, but it was very clearly inspired and pulled from a Godzilla that this director made for a ride. And in that same ride, he made an adaptation of Ghidorah. That was almost I would say it's somewhere between MonsterVerse Ghidorah and I would say the
Maybe
GMK, like somewhere,
GMK Ghidorah.
yeah, somewhere between those two as far as design. Definitely more animalistic. Like I said, if they do Ghidorah, he already has something to work off of. But he has also mentioned that he wants to do other monsters. Like he specifically, like he's name dropped Hedorah, and I know he's also mentioned other story Godzilla movies that he's liked in the past. So we don't know what's going to happen. We can't even pretend to know what's going to happen. Could be to one Godzilla. This is just an honest sequel where it's still just one monster of Godzilla versus the world and not just Japan. And now he's even bigger and badder. It could be that. There could, but what the fact does remain that traditionally, whenever we revamp the franchise, the first movie is like usually Godzilla 2014 excluded, usually just him, whereas the sequel is him and another monster. But even
Uh,
like,
unless you're Godzilla 2000.
yeah, yeah, usually like, but whenever it is Godzilla has a standalone movie, it is traditionally and typically immediately followed with him versus another monster because that's just the formula that works. And this director seems to have a lot of passion and a lot of care for the story he wants to tell. And the fact is there's returning characters. So like because there's returning characters, I don't think he would choose a monster that doesn't at least have some tie to it. That's why like if there's a second monster, I wouldn't I would be more keen on believing Hedera or hell, this is a hot take. It's not going to happen. But what if basically we keep the idea that Godzilla cells just kind of evolved into two different monsters into two different ways, and one of them is freaking bagging.
Oh my god, stop trying to make bagging a thing. It's never gonna be a thing.
I know it's not, but like, what if of all the movies to get that honor, you got freaking like the freaking Yamazaki comes out and just like, guess what, bitches? I did it first. 75 years and y'all couldn't do what I did. Suck it. He will win the fan base so hard if he does.
Shit, now I kind of hope he does do it.
Right. Look, I am leaning more towards like it's either going to be another Godzilla standalone or Hedera. That's where my mind's at. I think those are the more likely.
But
But I'm willing to believe any other monster if he writes it well, and considering this director's track record, he likely.
I mean, heck, with the scenario you presented, I could probably make a case for Hedera or Biolante.
I don't know if it goes so far as Biolante. That one is very again, but if they do it right, but
And, and no, I'm not just saying that because I have too many figures of them sitting at my desk right now. That's crazy.
is it weird that I would see Biolante as more fitting in like the Hollow Earth and like the other in the American series?
It could work.
I saw a pitch someone did as like a pseudo remake of GMK in almost a weird way, where they find more Iwi temple. I'm reeling a little bit to talk about the American stuff, but it was a pitch that I found someone did. I really like it is to immediately follow New Empire is that there were other Iwi temples, but each one effectively worships a different kaiju deity. Like the ones we were familiar with, the ones that kind of maintain that area, the Hollow Earth, of course, worship Mothra. But there's
Hmm.
other ones that worship other things, and you could use that as a ability to bring in other kaiju. Like there is a smaller subset that worships Varan, and another one that basically worships Baragon, or heck, you even have one that worships King Caesar or something. Since you've effectively killed Anguirus in this series, just have Varan, Baragon, and King Caesar, and just because of like all this traversing, all these experiments in the Hollow Earth due to some other stuff, uh, basically redo the Biolante story, but instead of a GMK of just Godzilla versus those three monsters, it's Godzilla and all these Guardian kaiju fighting an oversized Biolante that's just the Hollow Earth.
Nah.
I'm just like that. I don't know how much that could work, but like the imagery of basically just Godzilla and an army of his good friends, even roping in Mothra and Rodan or something, just to fight a Biolante that's like 5 times their size. I don't know. That visual's kind of sick. it it invokes like remember the Godzilla comic, that really long winded one by IDW, not long winded, but the long running one,
Uh, Rulers of Earth.
Rulers of Earth. Yeah, like the big final fight now with the giant cephalopod looking thing. It in
Yes, the
it in
Trilopod.
the trilopod. Yeah, yeah. It invokes that imagery and like just the idea. I don't know, I liked it. But no, like Godzilla minus zero, I'm excited as fuck for this. It's no question I'm going to see this, but hopefully on release day. But we shall see. All right.
in IMAX.
Now, next we have new and recent films. Yay! So this is one I've briefly mentioned in the previous podcast. I'm going to start with mine just because this might be the shortest segment for the final. I watched
Okay.
season 1 of a series called Dig Man on Netflix. I talked about it briefly in the past, but now I've actually finished season 1. It's just a parody, basically, of like thing like Indiana Jones and like The Mummy and does all these like adventuring type movies. It's
Mhm.
starring Andy Samberg. It's a great voice. But they know exactly what they're doing, and you know he's like parodying Indiana Jones. Like someone is like, "Hey, shouldn't you wear this hat?" It's like, "Why would I wear a hat? I am my own character." And he just pulls out a bullwhip.
Uh-huh.
They know what they're doing, and I have to respect that. It is not a. It has that stupid potty humor that's not for everybody.
Uh,
But there are things that make me laugh so much. I think that my two favorite jokes in the entire thing. One of them is I don't want to spoil like this full scenario, but basically they're in this place and they're in one section of the thing is almost like this paradise, and because of circumstances, they basically get kicked to the lower levels of this paradise to basically be labor, and they're only fed they're basically slaves. And when they realize the situation they're in, the quippy one-liner that Digman says is like, "Oh no, dystopia has gone from you to dis." I love that line. It's so stupid. But the other one that cracks me up just because I love the out of nowhere nonsense humor. And when I think it's on like the first or second episode, they're introducing all the characters, and little animal sidekick is a fast loris, and so it's just which is like a slow loris. So I also like, wait, what's the? I've heard of a slow loris before. Well, what's different about a fast loris? A crippling meth addiction. And then it does a quick zoom in on the fast loris face, hyper realistic with like snot dribbling, and just goes, ah!
okay.
It's like the Slippy jump scare from last weekend. Like just the random. It's like, oh, if I've never heard of a fast loris. What makes it different from a slow loris? A crippling meth addiction. It caught me so off guard, dude. It's a funny series. It's just if you go in expecting humor similar to something like it's not as smart as Futurama, but think of like the potty humor segments of Futurama or Family Guy, and that's the vibe you're getting. It's good for a quick laugh, but there is a story. I'm gonna watch season 2 at some point, but so I recommended. Do you have anything you saw recently, Mr. Griffin?
There haven't been a whole lot of new movies that I've watched. Only Disney Plus shows like Mall Shadow Lord and Daredevil Born Again.
How is Maul?
Oh, it's great.
Hell yeah.
Maul is just making his problems everyone's problems.
But that's what I wanted from the show. Because I wanted the Emperor to be like, sorry, there could only be like one Sith, so we have to kill you. And then for Maul to go, all right, bet. And just go out
We,
swinging. Is that basically the premise of the show?
well, not kind of a spoiler, but we don't have Empire intervention just yet. But because the people on this planet they're on, they're like, no. You bring in the Empire, they're gonna not want to leave.
Mm-hmm. Allegory.
But yeah, So anyway, did you know that they actually added screams to Vader or not Vader, Maul's lightsaber blades?
Screams?
Well, not like actual screams, like altered versions of the voice actor Sam Witwer screaming every time the sabers swing.
Oh, scream. I thought you said scream like with an N.
Oh no 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 no! Scream.
Okay. I was like questioning the logistics of that. Like, what do you mean? Like, is it like an eye saber where you can just basically change the clock or something? What the fuck do you mean?
No, no, we're not there yet.
That's the next movie. Someone pulls out their lightsaber, press a button, a little holographic window with Siri on it.
No.
I, I looked over to make sure to see if my phone reacted because if I actually say it, it doesn't. But if I say something else, it will. Oh well.
But that's just kind of a theme with the shows I've been watching. There's one character making their problems everyone's problems, whether it be Maul or freaking Bullseye. God damn it, Bullseye.
I don't know who that is.
He's a lot.
A
He's
lot.
from Daredevil.
Oh, the actor. I thought there was actually like a Star Wars character named Bullseye. I was like,
No, no, he's from Daredevil.
oh, okay. So you're conflating two different characters from two different shows. Got it. I'm caught up now.
Okay.
But continue.
Um,
I have no other recent things I saw, so I'm just kind of.
well, I I would talk about Reptilicus since I found out, oh yeah, I do own a DVD copy of that. I need to watch that. But instead, I had to basically marathon 3 other movies.
Yay. You're welcome.
So, but yeah, Maul is great. Daredevil, fantastic. Even if it does get a little heavy at times,
That's okay.
it's still so good.
I think he's got a Marvel boner. But I think before while we
Shut up.
conceal that, let us move on to our main topic of the night. A night at the museum. Yay!
Yay!
All right. So we'll only be talking about the main trilogy. So Night at the Museum, Battle at the Smithsonian, and Secret of the Tomb. So I guess best way to do it is to talk about them in order. I generally like the first one. I think it's very charming, very funny. It's not like it's a predictable movie in some of its like tropiness, but doesn't mean it's bad. There's some funny moments here and there. I thought the subversion of just like Jedediah and just like how they act on each other. It's like, man, don't call me small. I don't like it. I thought that still kind of makes me chuckle.
Well, don't call me big or monstrous either.
Yeah. Also, also everyone's favorite character is hey dum dum, you got gum gum. I don't know why, but he is a lot of people's favorite character.
I think it's just because people like Brad Garrett in general.
Yeah, that's fair. But I know the one performance that people like to conflate with this, and I'm going to talk more about it towards the end, is of course Robin Williams as Teddy Roosevelt,
Hmm.
which they there's some things going on. I think the best time to talk about him would actually be towards the end of the third movie for reasons, but I will just say like it's Robin Williams. He does great in these movies. Like he gets a few of his own little improv jokes in. He even like his with poor Ben Stiller, which by the way, Ben Stiller is a we I know he's in comedies a lot, and some comedies the comedies he's in aren't that great. Ben Stiller's a good
Yeah,
actor.
maybe an acquired taste at times, but he does good.
Yeah. Like if he's in a bad movie, he's usually not the problem or the reason it's bad. He just needs to get a better agent. But no, like this first movie is charming as heck. I one thing I do like about it is that there's almost this sense of real consequences. Like they're told at some point, like, oh yeah, no, like if anyone leaves the building, uh, they turn to dust.
Don't them out.
Which gets a little fuzzy in the later movies, but we'll get there.
Yeah, just get this out of the way. If you try to apply a whole lot of logic to these movies, your brain's just going to explode.
Yeah.
Let alone historical accuracy. But
thing is, one thing I'm going to do at the end after we talk about three movies is like one of my I have a problem with like the trilogy as a whole and like what I would generally do to fix it. But I'll talk about more about that later. But let's see.
like,
In the first movie, of course, they have the theme of Ben Stiller just trying. He's a guy who gives up a lot. He has all these failed inventions, and then like what's the line from Theodore Roosevelt? Like some men are born great, some have greatness thrust upon them. Is thrown at him multiple times. For as like he is, and what's the meaning behind it is like, hey, it's just greatness isn't handed to you. You have to like take a bad situation and make it great yourself. You can't just if you fail at something once, don't keep trying, man. Try new things. Like, and he stuck with it. Like I Night at the Museum, at least the first one, is a movie that I would regularly show. Like, if I had a kid, this is a movie that I would show my kid. Because I can imagine kids just learning about some of these historical figures and just like the scenes of him just like, oh, who are you? And even like little kids going, that's Christopher Columbus. I don't know. There's this sense that there's this charm to it of just a historical know-how and just uh,
that's probably the best word to describe these movies. They're charming.
they are charming and I like I generally like them, but I do think what kind of killed it. Let me pull something up real quick to confirm. Because these release dates were very far. Okay, so they weren't.
Wasn't there like a more significant gap between the second and third one?
Yes. Okay, yeah. These movies were made several years apart. The first one came out in 2006. The second one came out in 2009, and the last one came out in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know what else to say. At least about the, I have more to say about the other two, but I don't know what else to say about the first one. Then it's generally good. It's a charming as hell movie. The effects are definitely early 2000s, but a lot of them hold up in a fun way. And just think of the situation, like if the exhibits actually come to life and they just start acting like their counterparts. It's like how chaotic that would actually be.
I mean, and tell me you don't already do that when you go to a museum.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who does enjoy going to museums, This scratches all kinds of itches for me. Most of them autism related, but
Yep, yep.
needs more dinosaurs.
Definitely needs more dinosaurs, and that again, that's the kind of problem I had with this series. Like, I think it could have. I think part of it is they focus on this weird meta joke. Do you have anything else to say about the first one before I move on to the second one?
Not really.
So
Other than I'm willing to bet most people forgot Paul Rudd was in it.
yeah. So the way the second one starts is Ben Solo's character Larry is now a successful inventor, and he stepped away from the museum night guard position. And after rewatching recently, this isn't a recent development. They said like, oh, it happened like about a few years ago. It's like these movies are 3 years apart. He must have blown up and was only like a night guard for like a year then tops. That doesn't sit right with me after the first movie. But uh, basically, like on his one of his little little binges after Otacho finds out that the museum is being closed down, the financial troubles prevalent in the first one. Uh, Even though there was a big spike in sales after the fact, they are now back and like but it dropped off pretty quickly because it's still a museum. Not a lot of people are going to it. That's fine. And so, but a lot of these things are going to the Smithsonian, which is basically the giant
The museum.
Yeah, it is the world museum. And so basically the quest is to get the exhibits back with the tablet and everything. And apparently Amun Ra, who is the pharaoh who basically owns the tablet, the one guy with his brother is at the Smithsonian.
It's Akhmun Ra.
Yes, Akhman Ra and Kamun Ra. Yeah, the Kamun Ra is the bad one. So, how I generally feel about this movie, I think is best conveyed. There is a joke when a few of these characters come to life in the Aeronautics Museum, which was part of the Smithsonian, about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh yeah,
The whole sequence of the Tuskegee Airmen conveys exactly how I feel about this movie. When the movie is trying to be heartfelt, I think it does well. I think you got these funny actors doing these convincing moments. Like when you had one dude basically saluting Amelia Earhart like thanks for clearing the runway, ma'am. And then she
yeah
is like that. I like
that
that.
was great.
That was great. And then she, hey, you want to race over there? Shows that hey, these still it's a fun loving movie with these charming moments. Like that's a series at its best, fun loving and charming. But then prefaced and followed immediately by the Tuskegee Airmen are marching forward.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about either.
Especially because it doesn't do it again. It's just all these. That's what a lot of this movie is. These one-off jokes that are just there for one-off and don't come back. I don't understand it.
And I mean, you could also make the argument that some bits go on a little longer than they should. But even then, I gotta be honest, Hank Azaria kind of steals the show as Kamen Ra to a point where I can't really hate him.
No, he was the best part of this movie. I was like, I can't believe you crossed the line again.
If you speak again, I am going to kill you.
Yeah, no, he did good. It's just everything leading up to him and some of the other set pieces. Like, and I kind of like the central theme of this movie that like Larry's kind of taking his life and his job too seriously. He has to learn to take more chances again, have fun. I think my favorite scene though about that central lesson is when they're flying the Wright brothers plane. And Amelia Harold is like, "Oh, don't look now, Larry, but you're actually flying a plane, flying a plane." And he's just like, "Oh God,
What?
I'm flying a plane," and he actually does it. And it's just kind of realizing like, yeah, he can do it. He can have fun and do these exciting things. He doesn't have to be a stick in the mud. Like things are just kind of happening to him. Like I kind of like it. I don't know. I like that scene. They also tried to do a pseudo romance with Amelia Earhart, and then she kind of admits it was just a one-time fling because she knew she was only going to be alive for a night. And I'm just like, why'd you go with him? It's just confusing. It's weird because Honest Abe was right when they just kind of talked about like people. They actually did have this weird amount of chemistry.
Oh yeah. I mean, Amy Adams is great too.
Yeah.
It's it's one of those performances like, who's Amy Adams? That just is Amelia Earhart.
Mm-hmm. I think it also rubbed me the wrong way because the first movie did have a love interest, that history buff about Sacagawea, and who just didn't come back for any of the movies. But other characters did. We'll get there shortly. And, and then when
She didn't.
no, she never did. The love interest from the first one never came back. Was never mentioned again. Because remember, in Battle of the Smithsonian, when he made it back, he was basically flirting with another girl. He was played by the same actress as who played Amelia Earhart. And he was like, "You look like Amelia Earhart."
Okay, okay, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. No. I'm not talking about the other three. I know they came back, but
Yeah, okay, my mind got scrambled there for a bit.
yeah, the love interest never came back. And then in the Smithsonian, there's cool ideas about just it's just what if you have the tablet now in this the largest museum with the largest historical exhibits, and then you have things that are harder to hide, like the frickin' Lincoln Memorial coming to life.
Not to mention all the damage they do in that movie. Good
Oh yeah,
God.
no. The funniest part about that to me was the fact that they basically flew in the plane and made it back scot free. There's now no way to tie him to it. But Jonah Hill's character is in prison. They used his card. There's now a paper trail leading just to that one dude.
Oh no, I get what you're saying. It's just funny.
Yeah, like I like things to be wholesome, but having that little cynical, mean spirited edge to them to me makes it a little bit funnier. So I like that aspect about it. But I found myself liking parts of this movie. I just couldn't like the whole because of I felt parts of it were trying too hard to be funny or to be compelling, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
I think
But
that's not as good as the first one.
not as good as the first one. Again, truth be I do think the first one is the best. However, now the third one though, I do think is better than the second one. For the simple reason that it maintains a clear focus on what we need to do, what we need to do to get there. This one
Yeah, for the most part.
for the most part. For the most part, huge Ackman. But yeah, this time the museum is the British Museum. Rebel Wilson isn't funny, but anyway.
She's awkward.
When I saw her on the cover, I rolled my eyes. I'm glad she's not in the movie as much as she is, except for one bit she shouldn't have. There's a section she should not have been there at all, but I'll get there. But it's a similar plot to the second one. Basically, well, they're not trying to rescue him. They're basically trying to go find Amon Ra's parents who know the secret of the tablet because there's this curse going on. Because the way the second movie ended is they opened up the night exhibit and like they sold it as animatronics and actors, like the museum has come to life. But and I get it. draw a lot of crowds in, and there's some satisfying shots of some kids going, "God, these are some fake animatronics," and Rexy just roaring in their face. Take that.
Wow. Rexy, what an original name.
Hey, don't talk down to Rexy. Rexy's a good boy.
He is a good boy. I just think he deserves a better name.
But basically, one day when during a gala, something happens. Like there's this weird rust on the tablet. Larry does take note of it, but he's still like working at the back of the night guard position this time and not doing that weird just like I'm gonna not work as a night guard and focus on my inventions for a few years. You know what? That's gonna go nowhere. I'm gonna sell that company and be a night guard again. God, that went nowhere. But
Yeah.
but but yeah, he makes note of it. It's like, all right, let's get through the gala, then we'll have a look at that, see if we can figure it out because this is new
And
and
nothing will go wrong.
nothing will go wrong. But a lot of stuff does go wrong, and there is a tense scene. I think my favorite tense scene in the entire series, despite how much stuff was in the first one and all of his freakouts. Just the scene where Teddy points a gun at Ben Stiller's face and just says in this panicked voice, "I don't know you." Just like that to me is
Oh,
that was a oh fuck moment if I ever saw one. Like, like
Father, I don't want to go on this road trip anymore.
yeah, everything goes awry, and then immediately after that, we he gathers everyone, and he's almost giving like a parental lecture, but he's clearly we're like, what went wrong? What's going on? And he tells Teddy what he did is like, I don't remember any of it. But immediately after that, he does go researching more about the tablet because he doesn't just have that eureka moment like the tablet, and no, he clearly we were already introduced. It does a good storytelling thing. We know about the tablet. He knows about the tablet. Things are going weird now. So behind the scenes, he put together might be related to the tablet. Let's do some research. So he does, and I'm thankful he does that. But in doing so, we are introduced to a character that also works at the museum at night that has never come here yet. Lady who works in the archives playing Candy Crush all day. How the fuck has she not been in these movies before? It bugs me. And she talks about like it's like, oh, any of these people know about what happened? Well, those people are dead, but this person isn't. And they realize that the kid who knew something was, well, Dick Van Dyke's character from the first night at the museum.
It all comes
It
around.
all comes together, and he starts playing dumb and whatnot, and then he gives subtle hints about just everything and talks to him in private, and we find out that and also go in a weird way it feeds into why he did what he did in the first movie is he kind of took for granted because nothing had happened for so long. He was just like, well, clearly there's not a curse, but there's clearly magic, so I'm just gonna like live life here. And then when that little oh shit moment of him then realizing that the end referred to the end of the magic and not the end of the world, that was an oh shit moment that you could just see in his face. He's like that if he went through with everything he did, there was no going back, and he really would have just ended a lot of people's lives. Like and like I don't know, like Dick Van Dyke is a good actor. He conveyed a lot with a little. I really appreciate that scene. So yeah, they travel to the British Museum where Amon Ra's parents are kept because they know the secret. They go through the museum. People get separated. They encounter Lancelot, who, because it's the British Museum, instead of using prop mannequins, he has his actual fucking armor. So he's actually really adept at just fighting, and he's actually a threat. They're fighting all these things from different cultures and whatnot. There's an India thing, and that to me that's the fun part. Is just all these India exhibits and whatnot. Now I should mention how it affects the exhibit because there was a fun idea introduced in Battle of the Smithsonian about how paintings also come to life. They're like portals to these worlds because that's just how the tablet works. It creates life at night.
Yep. That's when things start to get abstract.
Yeah. In the first one, like he's interacting with them briefly. He splashes water from a painting on another on the octopus, which now I have to question: is that painting now worthless and everyone just thinks it's stolen? There's so many unanswered questions. It's kind of comedic, but in the this time they actually well no they entered a painting in Smell the Smithsonian, which led to a very funny after credit scene. Johnny Motorola, you get out of your no, but if you know you know.
Yeah.
But in the second one, they had I think my favorite sequence in these movies, where when Lancelot, spoiler not spoiler, he doesn't go evil, but he because he sees that the tablet grants life, he thinks it's the actual Grail, and that's why no one's found it for so long, because they were looking for a cup when the Holy Grail is a referral to this tablet. So he takes the tablet and tries to deliver it to King Arthur. So he's kind of the antagonistic force in this. But there is a tussle between like him and Lawrence and Teddy in an MC Escher painting, and I really like that sequence because they must have had so much fun just throwing each other around this fucked up set, and they kept twisting it and turning it because they're God, they did really well in that section. And I haven't mentioned this, but Lawrence has a son. In the first movie, the general arc was his son disappointed in his dad, and that's one of the things that drew him to stick with the museum. And then his son learns about everything, and he's proud of his dad for sticking to it. He has this cool job. In the second one, he knows about his job. They know about the museum. He also cares about him. He's a little disappointed his dad gave up on it, but he's at least being successful and committing to other things. So he's chill enough. And in the third one, he's his own man, off to college. He wants to be a DJ in Spain. His dad's asking him questions like, "Oh, I support that. Do you speak Spanish? God, don't harsh my vibe." Yeah.
Teenagers.
But and also, there's a lot amount of time between these movies, so I think there's a lot of production. Just like I never thought for an instant the plan was to make three movies. I don't think that was ever the plan. I think the plan was one, and if it got a sequel, it got a sequel. They probably did Battle of the Smithsonian second because they didn't think we'd get another sequel, but it will still. Again, I'll talk more about that afterwards. But in in the third one of the themes is basically just Larry letting go and letting his kid fly and just generally letting go of the museum because one of the and this is where I want to talk about Robin Williams because one of the ending scenes, like one of the resolutions, is everyone agrees that Amun Ra and the tablet should remain with his family in the British Museum. And like because of basically do some plot contrivances. They basically take a plane home, and because they say, hey, if we get home now, we can get them home before everything wears off, and you can say your proper goodbye. I'm not gonna relay the lines here because I think there's more than just the one everyone talks about. The lines he says to Owen Wilson's character and like basically Jedediah and Octavius, just like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna remember most about you guys, how big you were. It's like it sounds like a joke, but there's a lot of meaning there. And but there, the line Robin Williams has the dialogue to me is just the meaning of the entire trilogy in a nutshell. Life is fleeting. The general, I'm not going to replay the line. I'm not going to say it bar for bar. I can't even begin to just replay what the meaning behind that man's words. I encourage everyone to look it up. But it perfectly encapsulates the theme of these three movies. That's life is fleeting. Life's an adventure. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Enjoy it while you can, but don't be afraid to take these risks. Embrace what you have in front of you. Everything can happen in one night. It is a beautiful general theme to end on, and I, because of just how consistent it was, like because of that ending, because of the generally consistent storytelling, I do like the third one a little more than the second one because it holds true to that theme and it feels like more connected to the first one because of it.
Almost,
And
it almost makes me happy that there hasn't been another movie.
there's been an animated series released in 2022.
Yeah, but
The cast is very different. Nick Daly, who's the son, is basically the new Night Guard. Some of the characters return, but the dad is but Larry Daly is now played by Zachary Levi. I don't think any of the looking at it, none of
mm,
the cast returns.
that's disappointing.
Some of them were obvious, but none. And some of the changes don't make sense. Like Owen Wilson was Jedediah, and this one they got Steve Zahn. Why do I know it? Oh, that guy.
Bad A.
Yeah. I don't picture Jedediah the cowboy. I don't know. It's such confusing vocal. But so I mentioned like I like the theme of these movies, but they focus on this weird meta joke of just it's been so long and things change over time between these movies because of the year differences. With the benefit of hindsight and thinking things like a proper through story and proper escalation in mind, I think it would be better for the franchise if the stories, if basically 2 and 3 were flipped and Battle of the Smithsonian was the last movie. Now, now follow me up on my logic here. About like this is kind of a what if scenario. First movie stays the same, does not change.
Okay.
Second movie, this time we like it doesn't start at a gala, however, but it just starts with a basically Larry doing his rounds. He's trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
out like uh, everything going on. He still sees the rust. One day when his son Nick is there, because again, keep continuing the tradition of keeping Nick with him because he likes there and whatnot. One day, just randomly because of how aggressive they are, maybe they're talking about something that happens and just there's a Tesla who's trying to break up and still have that moment where maybe it's like maybe something really unexpected, like Teddy is fighting the Civil War guys or something. And then Teddy turns out points a gun at him, everyone's kind of freaking out and just twitching. And like you have that I don't know you scene. And that's what kind of kicks everything off here. One of the side things you mentioned is how well Ben Stiller like mentioned the other actress, his love interest from the first one. I was just like, I don't know, she just stopped working at the museum. We grew apart. Just do that as a passing interest. Because one theme I want to introduce is his he just can't seem to find someone that he fully sticks with. Right,
Right.
nothing fits. So make another love interest in this one. I don't know who. You can really do anyone at this point. Just it's someone who maybe they like in this movie, but then at the beginning of the third movie, Battle of Smithsonian, they would go away, but blah blah blah. Because of the way he does his attractions, maybe they stage kind of little Easter egg hunts of sorts. Like now in the first movie, there's dinosaur tracks. Maybe one day he goes out at night in the snow and just have Rexy just kind of walk around the park and just do little do and just a path leading back to the museum. Maybe one day he has like the freaking Civil War dudes leave like fake medals and shit. He would do like little schemes like that, just to draw interest to the museum, and it's working. And but generally, he has fun with everyone there, and they still view him as family because they do. Till it's still his buddy. And one of the funniest like little scenes to me is still in the first one, just like Mikaka, Mikaka. What does Mikaka mean? Like, so yeah, they go to the Smithsonian. They find out what's going on, and we find out now the truth of the tablet, how it needs to be charged in moonlight. Which doing the benefit of doing Secret of the Tomb second is you don't have those scenes in the Smithsonian where the tablet's in moonlight.
Huh.
Yeah. But we'll get there. I have a plan in mind. But you have these things, you chart, like you still go through everything, and Lancelot just kind of doing his little thing, is kind of coming to terms with what he is, and everyone explained just like how life is fleeting. But we don't have the conclusion that Amun-Ra stays behind. Like, because like instead, what I want to do with Nick in this movie, the son, is just maybe have him do something. Just it doesn't have to be. It could be DJing, like this thing in the segment. It doesn't matter what it is. It could come to play in a funny way. Just have him show interest in something as a mainline career path. But basically the father trusts like the tablets to Amun-Ra to go back to the museum. Maybe a few other of the exhibits come back to the Natural History Museum as a show of good faith, which would delight the director, played by Ricky Gervais. And then yada yada. And then also lets the through line of basically the father starting to let go of the son. Not done yet, but that is there. He trusts the son with his own life and everything, even though because the dad's like he's found his place mostly. Now in the third movie, Battle of the Smithsonian, the Natural History Museum has done a lot, but that maybe in this fictional reality, they're adding this, and you're going to want to follow me on this. This is going to sound weird. It's going to go places. Okay? Trust the process.
You bring up weird things? Never.
But now, basically, in the third movie is like this is where you have the gala before the Smithsonian. It goes well. We don't have him doing the little live action actor effect things. I don't think that should be a thing. But have him just generally do a gala, but instead of just them, the actors or whatnot, have it's happening at night, and have some of the exhibits and in the closed off sections working behind the scenes stuff or whatnot. Like imagine like Jedediah and Octavius just like being like mice in the vents with Dexter, just doing their thing to kind of keep everything up to wraps, and Sacagawea is like taking care of a few things behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a little more believable at that point. And of course Nick is helping out, but then he does this little whiny teenager thing. Like he likes it at the museum, he just doesn't want to do it. He just doesn't want to be a night guard like his dad. So he kind of want to start. That's when he just really wants to stretch his own wings, So now the frustration's starting to get there. He thinks his dad's now a little too focused on there. But this is also where like they have their first little heart to heart, and that mentions the girl, whatever girl from the second movie. Just he hasn't found that one person, and he finds that for some reason the place that just seems to fit him best is at the museum. That's going to be important. During this little gala, that's when they get the announcement that was prevalent in Battle of Smithsonian the first time about more digital exhibits, and that they are going to be moving a few things, but they, in lieu of just popularity in certain people, there's going to be a limited run exhibit, and they announce, they don't show it, but they announce they're actually going to make wax figures of like key people that are important to the history of these museums. So imagine like curators and shit, right?
Okay.
And one of them, because of how much he's done for it in such a short time, is Ben Stiller's character. They have not made it yet, but they're going to. Pin in that.
Hmm.
But during that time, like he said, that it won't be at the Natural History Museum. This will be everything will eventually be moved to the Smithsonian. This is belongs to the Red Flag because largest museum, and it is like you said, it is the museum. Ooh, pin in that. My theory, my plan for the second one, when they talk about the father and whatnot, you know how they do the flashback to Egypt, and
Yes.
if you're like really astute, you could see that where the tablet is matches the Battle of the Smithsonian, and that fourth sarcophagus is like right in front of it, kind of in the shadows. Have that the same, and have the parents briefly mention, but I don't have the parents mention it. But in the book he's looking at when researching the tablet, like that's when you put the little Easter eggs that Amun Ra had a brother. So put all that stuff, like drip feed that stuff, and then maybe there's like a passing scene is like, oh, so well, like was everything supposed to go to you? Well, yeah. Like he had to second guess it for a second. No one thinks about it until the Battle of Smithsonian. That's when we get Common Raw, right? Right.
Right.
Right. So we got all that squared away. So everything now, and so now the framing of this would, instead of being a rescue mission, um, and since the because like basically Ben Stiller pulls all of his resources, he wants to oversee the transfer to the Smithsonian and eventually work there as a federal jurisdiction night guard, right? Now, doing this solves two problems I have with the movie. One, there's less urgency, so he can actually walk around and appreciate and learn about the exhibits, because that was one thing he did in Night of the Museum and Secret of the Tomb that he did not do in Battle of the Smithsonian, and that felt weird. You know?
Yeah.
So there's less of just that fuddy duddy bullshit. So now Amelia Earhart is still drawn to him because he is a human. He is new. He is exciting. He is a flyboy. Still have their chemistry. Have them actually have chemistry. Right?
You cut off for a second.
I was gonna say, let them actually have chemistry. Right? Yeah. Then throughout the movie, most of the events stay the same. Keep your light comedy. Make Common Raw more of a threat. But of course, and a way to make him more of a threat is like the son wants to spray his own wings. He sees, like, he hears how Common Ra talks about Amun Ra, and just how like he's given all these things, he's expected to be this, and because he's given everything, he wasn't allowed to be what he wanted to be. Maybe have like a weird little brief turn to the dark side before the son kind of gives over himself. Which has been realized, like, he doesn't have a problem with his son following his own path. Like, make that the theme. So yes, this would do something for the son, because he was going to be a major focus, because he's college, he would be of age at that time. We could focus on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, throughout this Battle of the Smithsonian, making an actual battle. I know this one's a bit of an ask, so I like that Common Raw is getting the help of like Napoleon and Ivan the Terrible and all the people there at the Smithsonian, and also the armies of the dead. Weird movie, I know. Make an actual army of the dead. Holy fuck. And just imagine all of the exhibits from the museum, plus the new ones of the Smithsonian and Abraham Lincoln versus that while they try to get the tablet under control. Make an actual, I'm not saying something on the scale as freaking Narnia, but something bigger than what we got, and something with a little more fun shots, you know?
Yeah.
Unless Jonas Brothers is Cupid. Now, during that battle, this is where it's going to get interest, like, or before the battle takes place, during every time, like let Larry see the unfinished mannequin of him at the Smithsonian. Make like a weird thing here where he just kind of looks at it and just does a, oh, like he doesn't know how to feel. Now, now, but then as a Smithsonian during the battle, for some reason or another, if you really want to edge the threat level, Larry dies.
Whew, this got dark.
There's a reason. There's a reason. Like Larry has his moment with his son. Like the son turns back, and Larry has his moment with Theodore Roosevelt. His son has an idea of what he wants to do, but he's unsure. There is a resolution afterwards. Like everything goes back to normal after the Smithsonian. The dad's carried off. Everything's blamed on whoever. Maybe there's a human villain or something. I'm just saying overarching. So now we still have that Robin Williams speech at the end of the third one, but it's directed at the son. Where the son just goes, I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. How exciting. Like it feels like a little more weight directed at him, doesn't it? Because at that point, Larry found what he wanted, and that's when you cut to like a few years later. For the son follow we want to do, he has like and like because and there's like a brief model intermission where they have another returning actor of you have the son's mom and Paul Rudd just hugging them off to go see. Like, oh, you're off to see your dad. Like, you actually got an event at the Smithsonian because maybe the dad wanted to be buried with the exhibits, and that's something he was explicitly requested. At least the son insisted. And considering they were making a wax mannequin of him, that's it. They had no any problem with it. So then I was like, y'all, I'm glad you'll be able to see your dad. It's like it's gonna be interesting. So the son does this thing. Let's say he was doing a DJ thing, and he does a party at the Smithsonian, and he stays for the night at the party, goes to the exhibits, and this time you actually see Larry with his wax model finished, with Amelia Earhart talking with Teddy and Sacagawea in front of the Easter Island head, and then just greeting his son again because that's where Larry is comfortable. That's where Larry belongs, and his son gets to see him and hug him one more time. Like, that's how I would change it. I don't know. I don't know if that's what should happen when I watch these movies. I feel the best way to tweak these movies and get a better through story involves swapping the events of the 2 and 3 and just tweaking a few things. That's how I honestly feel about it. But yeah, I know my little theory bait went places, but yeah, what do you think about that, Griffin?
It's interesting direction to say the least.
Yeah, but you know that little dance party you had at the end of the third movie with Rebel Wilson and Law, who should not have. Law should not have been. I'm sorry, Rebel Wilson and Law should not have been in these movies. I don't like. I don't like that. There's a caveman played by Ben Stiller. There should have just always been just the three. But now you still have that scene, and hey, if you have the son be a DJ, you still have him at the DJ booth instead of Amon Ra, and then that's when you have like the big closeout dance where you zoom in on everybody. You have Larry dancing with Amelia Earhart, Robin Williams, or rather Teddy Roosevelt dancing with Sacagawea. Have Amon Ra's parents dancing when like together. It's like have that big final closeout dance party for the series. Like it just, I think that would be framed so much better in that context. You know, heck, even have that joke freaking thing with the Rex and the Triceratops skeleton from the second one doing their weird freaking yeah, you know what I mean.
Dirty dancing bit.
Yeah, the Dirty Dancing reference. I said I really like the first one. I I like the other two, just not as much as I feel I should, and I feel the best way to make them better would be like, and this is largely benefit of hindsight. Like I said, I don't think that these movies were made with the intent of there being a sequel. That's why the second one they did that meta joke about how it's been so long. They're like, all right, we're just gonna end this here. Let's just go big. And then they're like, oh shit, there's a third one. Uh, I really believe that's what happened. But yeah, thank you for indulging me. What do you think about these movies? Do you have any ideas of how they could be better or worse or changed?
Well, I don't have anything like you did as to how they could be changed. I just think they're charming, entertaining movies that, if you have nothing else in mind that you want to watch, maybe revisit these.
Yeah. I'm looking at the full cast list for the animated thing. There's one voice I'm looking for. God, they really didn't bring anybody back from the previous.
Not even Hank Azaria?
No, Hank Azaria, and that's the weird thing. Common Raw is the main villain, and they didn't get Hank Azaria. They got someone named Joseph Kamal.
Okay.
I think the biggest name on here is Zachary Levi and Thomas Lennon. I think those are the biggest names attached to this. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, no, I like these movies. I rewatching the first one, getting a chance to watch these second two. I'm happy I saw what I did. I I think they're really freaking charming movies. But yeah, I don't want to linger on too long. Thank you for joining me today, Griffin.
You are quite welcome.
There we go. Okay, wait a minute, and we're back. Okay, almost perfect timing. Almost perfect timing to disconnect the stream, but we're back now. It's okay. I could fix that in post. Freaking Slippy got mad at my jokes last week, so I guess Slippy's messing my stream up again.
I'm at.
That's okay. But yeah, perfect time. We only got a little bit to go. We gotta get back to the almighty wheel. Yes.
Oh yeah, it's wheel time.
All right. Now, so this time on the wheel, we have the life and times of Benoit Blanc. That's of course the Knives Out trilogy. We replacing Night of the Museum. I'm going to do a not movie related, but something we hadn't done yet. Popcorn buckets are weird. The novelty popcorn bucket episode.
Oh boy.
Don't know if it's going to be a tier list. Don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be about the novelty popcorn buckets.
It's gonna be something.
The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, that trilogy specifically. We Are the Men in Black, again, the trilogy. Sing a Song, that's going to be in reference to Sing, Sing 2, and the animated short they put on Netflix a bit ago. Growing Up in the Cul-de-sac, that's going to be a retrospect over the Ed and Nettie, the entire show, specials and movie. And the Dark Knight trilogy, the Christopher Nolan trilogy. And of course, the guest decides. If it lands on that, Griffin gets to choose any of the others. So without further ado, Mr. Griffin, let us spin the wheel.
Yay.
The guest decides.
Why is that a thing with me specifically?
It likes making you choose.
Okay. Let me look at the choices again.
Remember, we got The Life and Times of Benoit Blanc, Popcorn Buckets Are Weird, The Mummy, Brendan Fraser series specifically, We Are the Men in Black, Sing a Song, Growing Up in the Cul-de-sac, and the Dark Knight trilogy.
Well, now I'm just trying to figure out which category is going to be on there the longest. Who will be the next Jaws? But you know what? If the guest must decide, then I have decided that the next one will be on the Men in Black.
We are the Men in Black,
Men in
Galaxy
Black.
Defender. All right, and again, that is just the trilogy. That is, we won't be talking about the animated show or Men in Black International because Men in Black 1, 2, and 3 are a continuous story. It'll just be those three. So yes, next time on the Kino Corner, we are the Men in Black. Bah!
Hi.
Yeah.